Hello, welcome back to Reading with Mo, and welcome to my 2026 goals video. I am very excited to share with you guys all the things that I would like to accomplish, or at least attempt to, for the year of 2026. I don't even fully remember what goals I set for myself in 2025, if any. So we're just not even going to think about it at this point. Move on. I do know I set myself the goal of reading 100 books in 2025, and I did not make that goal. I almost always in my life have made my reading goals for the year, but this year was an exception because I did move cross country, get married, start a new job, a whole bunch of things that are time suckers. And so I did not make it, but I did. Technically, I guess you could say I DNF'd about 20 books last year. So if we counted those, then I would make it to 100 books read for the year. But overall, I'm not really that fussy. Like, I'm going to read what I'm going to read. I did attempt in the last month to try to make up, but I did not have the time to do that. I didn't want to make too many goals, or at least things that were not too feasible for me, but I did, of course, set some for 2026. So I have 10 that I'm going to share with you guys today. The first one being my reading goal, which is going to be the same as it is every year. I always set it at 100, and for the most part, I'm usually good, like I said, at making that goal. I do a mix of audiobooks and physical books. Every once in a while, I'll throw in an ebook. So hitting 100 this year should not be hard. Actually, just finished the first book of the year today, so I am currently on track for 2026. My second goal is to continue DNFing books liberally. So last year was the first time that I actually kept track of how many books I DNF'd throughout the year, and that total came to 20. And I think that is a very reasonable number. If anything, I probably wouldn't even mind if it was slightly higher if I am reading slightly more books, because I really don't want to be giving out 1 or 2 star ratings, and really I would love to have a minimal amount of 3 stars as well. I just want to save my reading time for the best of the best books. So I would just like to continue. I feel like I'm on a good roll at putting things down when I don't like them or when I think they're just okay. So I like to bring that energy into 2026 too. My third reading goal is to read more buddy reads, specifically with my husband. So we kind of did one last year. We haven't finished it yet. That is All About Love by Bell Hooks we started with, and I discovered, I really do enjoy reading books and discussing them with him, and he's trying to get more into reading books, so maybe you guys will see him around on the channel more. He's not a huge reader, but I think if he finishes something and he wants to come on and give his review, he would love to do that. So we will definitely be reviewing the books that we read together when we finish them. Ideally, I think it'd be cool to have like one book a month that we read together. We did start one together this week, but we're only like 1 chapter in, so I'm not making any promises, but it is something that I would like to incorporate into my reading life this year. Okay, goal number 4. I would like to read more nonfiction this year. I haven't yet tallied up how many nonfictions I read last year, but I think if I remember correctly, it was only about 12% of my reading. But I think this year I would like to try to read them more regularly, especially because they are typically books I do rate 4 or 5 stars, because I'm very good at picking nonfiction books on topics that really interest me and that are well written. So this year I would like to read 24, which averages to 2 a month, which I think is very doable. I'm not currently reading any nonfiction books though right now, so I need to pick one of those up ASAP. My goal number 5 is to read more classics this year. Same as nonfiction. I think I only picked up maybe like 3 or 4 classics last year, but they also, like I was mentioning with nonfiction, are books I tend to rate higher. The ones that I am picking up, because I am very interested in those ones, and I do typically give them around like a 4-star rating for the most part. So I would like to read at least 12 classics this year, which means 1 a month, which is definitely very doable. If you watched my last TBR video of the books I want to read in January, you will actually see all of the ones that I want to read for the year in that video. I have them all on a wheel, and I let the wheel choose which one I'm going to read. So for the month of January, it chose for me to read Sherlock Holmes. I haven't started it yet, but I'm very excited to. I plan to start it hopefully within like the next week or so. It's all short stories, so I feel like it's very doable. Other ones I have on there are some that are very intimidating to me, like Les Miserables, Count of Monte Cristo. I have some Dickens on there who I haven't read from before. I think I might have put War and Peace on there. But yeah, I have some very ambitious stuff on there, so I'm looking forward to picking up these classics that I've been meaning to get to for so long, and they all are classics that are from my shelves. Same with nonfiction. I don't think I mentioned that before. I would like 24 nonfictions to come off of my shelves, or to come from my shelves that I read this year. But I'm not I'm not going to be super strict on that though. Goal number 6 is to acquire less books than I read this year. For example, if I read 100 books, that means I need to allow less than 100 books to come into my library. In the year of 2025, I definitely acquired more books than I read. Kind of, I don't know. So I finished 91 books, had 20 DNFs, and I think about 100 came into my library, were either gifted to me or I purchased them myself last year. Looking at those numbers, then you would think that I bought less books than I read. But the thing is, a lot of those books that I did read were from my library. I make very liberal use of audiobooks on Libby. So if we take those into account, which I haven't physically added up, but I already know, I definitely acquired more books than I read last year. So this year I would like to work on bringing my TBR list down, and I'm gonna very much have more self-control with buying books, which I typically do have self-control at the beginning of the year. It's the end of the year when the holidays come and all the sales come that I end up losing my mind. Goal number 7 is to try to read less audiobooks. Something I've also discovered, which I kind of already knew, but I really want to lean into about myself, is that I enjoy physically reading books more than listening to audiobooks. But I enjoy listening to audiobooks when I'm doing things like driving, getting ready in the morning, getting ready at night, when I'm cleaning, things like that. I do like to listen to YouTube videos as well, but I also like to listen to audiobooks. But that means sometimes I'm not paying the most attention, and maybe some of these books that I've rated lower, I might have rated higher had I read it physically. That's just the chance I take with it. I know that that is just one of the things I have to be okay with. But I would like to read maybe a little bit less audiobooks, especially because sometimes I speed through them so quickly. If I'm listening to them like on 2 times speed and I did a ton of driving in a day or two, I might have finished a whole audiobook if it's short enough in a day. And so since it's not with me that long, I tend to forget the details, and overall I just feel like I didn't get as much out of the book as I could have. So this year I would like to do less audiobooks, not none, but I would like to maybe purposefully take longer to get through audiobooks. Just because I can speed through an audio doesn't mean I need to or should. I'm overall curious to see if this means that my overall end of the year average rating will be impacted and if it'll be a little bit higher. My goal number 8 is to keep a reading journal. I just purchased a journal from Archer and Olive, who I'm obsessed with all their stuff right now. And I overall just wanted to get more into journaling in general in 2026, but specifically I want a reading journal to track my reading. So I have one. I just need to kind of get it all set up. Now that I finished my first book of the year, it will definitely motivate me to start using it. And I think that would be fun to physically document the books and a way for me to sit with them a little bit longer, because I want to put a picture of the cover inside, write down what the book is about, some of my thoughts. And I think that will also help me when I go into my wrap-up videos, or if I'm wanting to make standalone reviews, to have something to reference there instead of trying to remember everything about every book I read all at the end of the month when I'm trying to film my wrap-up videos. Goal number 9 is I want to reopen my online shop selling my used books. I technically still have them up. I just haven't refreshed them or updated them in a long time. And I don't have anything fancy. I just put my stuff on eBay, Mercari, Depop, stuff like that. And I would like to refresh that. Ever since I moved, I kind of just deactivated everything. But I would like to, reset those back up, because I do have a box of books that I would like to list on there and at least recoup some of the money on these books that I'm getting rid of, because I get rid of books typically because I don't like them. So if I could sell them and make some extra money to go towards buying more books, I'm not going to say no to that. And then last but not least, goal number 10 is I want to test out using a different reading app this year. For the past 10-ish years, I've been using Goodreads. And like many people, I get bored with how basic it is. There's no updates. You can't do quarter or half star ratings, all those same things that everybody has issues with Goodreads with. And I agree with. So I want to try something different. I went researching on a whole bunch of different ones like Fable. I'm blanking on the other names, the other ones right now, but I am going to try Storygraph this year. I downloaded it and I've transferred everything from Goodreads over to Storygraph. So I'm going to use it. Maybe I'm thinking right now at the same time as using Goodreads, at least for the first half of the year, if not the whole year. I'm going to see if I want to permanently make the change to Storygraph, if I want to maybe keep using both of them for some reason, or if I'm just going to stick with Goodreads because it's what I know. And that's kind of where I've been the last couple of years. I'd like to try other ones. I just don't because it's familiar and I know how to use it and work it, and it does the basic things I need to do. But I would like to use Storygraph, and I would think I'd like to try maybe even using like Excel sheet, spreadsheet app, or whatever it is to track my reading, but we'll see. Because if I add too many things onto my plate that I have to update and fix when I finish a book, it will definitely put me off from reading. So I don't want to make the barrier to entry too hard on myself. Those are all my reading goals. I also did have a few channel goals as well, thinking about going into the new year, reflecting on how things went last year. The last half of last year, I did pretty well at posting, not regularly, but at least posting. So for the year of 2026, I have a goal for myself to post every single day on all my social media accounts. That is Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. I tried to do in December posting 3 times a day on each, and that was impossible. I have way too much going on in my life, but I think once a day is pretty feasible for me right now. We are on the 8th and I am on track with it so far. So I think once a day, as long as I'm pre-planning, is very doable for me. This will help me not have huge amounts of time where I don't post anything. Like in December, I barely posted anything. I also had a good excuse though. It was like I went out of town on vacation and then I was sick for a couple weeks, but I would like to avoid that from happening in 2026. Kind of tied in with my goal of posting once a day on all my socials, I would really love to be able to monetize my YouTube channel again. It used to be a few years ago, but ever since I started posting sporadically, I have not had enough watch hours to be able to monetize my channel. And while it's not like it's something that makes a ton of money, it's nice to have a little extra, book money here and there. So right now I think I'm around like 1,500 watch hours, and you have to be at 3,000. So I think if I actually posted regularly, it's something that would happen easily. It's just the posting regularly part that holds me back. My second channel goal is I want to do more reading vlogs. I only did 3 in 2025, and it was a goal I think I did have for myself in 2025, was to do more reading vlogs. I think ideally I would like to do 1 or 2 a month, and I think that is very reasonable and doable, so that's something I'm setting for myself for this year. My third channel goal is to do more standalone book reviews. These do not get the most views or most traction online. Goal number 3 is I want to do more standalone book reviews. I'm not sure. I don't know if I would really want to do like a long form, but kind of like in short form. I did do a few in 2025, and they are definitely not the kind of videos that get the most views or traction on your channel, but I don't care. I still enjoy doing them anyway. And I think I would like to do at least 1 or 2. Ideally, I would do 1 for every book I finish, but realistically, time-wise, I could do at least 1 or 2 a month for the books that I really enjoyed the most in the month. I think that would be really cool. My bookish goal number 4 is to attend more bookish events. I went to a lot last year. I went to like a bookstore opening. I went to book fair. I checked out so many different bookstores in other cities that I traveled to, and that's something I just want to continue to bring that energy into the new year. And I would love to do some more research on book events that are happening around Florida or even other places that I can travel to. And last but not least, we have goal number 5, which is to visit more bookstores. So I guess these aren't technically channel goals. They're channel/life goals, and I love visiting new bookstores. It's one of my favorite things to do when I travel somewhere new, is look up the bookstores in town. There are some even near me that I haven't gone to yet here in South Florida, so I would love to do that. And maybe I can incorporate it into doing some reading vlogs while I so I can just, hit 2 goals at the same time for this year. So those are all my reading slash channel goals for 2026. Let me know if you guys think I'm being too ambitious or if there's any goals that you think I should add to my list. But that's it for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.